At 24 years of age, I was earning a stable base salary of 12K a month. I was working 2 full-time jobs from home. And I didn't really have to travel. Stress level is okay as well. I would like to think, pretty good work-life balance. As far as relationships with my colleagues and my managers, they were pretty harmonious, and I was happy with my job. But I decided to quit both of my full-time jobs to start my own business, and here's why. Now, I have to make it clear again that I was really grateful because when I first started my career, I was earning a base salary of 4.5K a month, and that was already considered pretty high. But I was greedy, and so I kept working hard. I requested for increments when I thought it was appropriate, and I also started my second full-time job. And at 24, within less than a year of being in full-time or being in the workforce, I was able to earn a 5-figure income of 12K a month, and that was excluding commissions. With commissions, we typically look at about 15 to 16K a month. But I decided to quit. And the first reason for that was because I thought that that was really the limit. Because if you think about full-time employment, the only time where you're able to increase your earnings on a monthly basis would be to have annual increments. Of course, commissions would help as well, but I'm referring specifically to your basic salary. So the amount that you will be guaranteed to receive on a monthly basis. And I thought that, hey, we're looking at 12K a month, but how do I elevate that from 12K to 15K a month? And the only way really is through increments. And as far as increments were concerned, we're looking at about 10 to 15% annually. And that is if you perform extremely well. If you don't perform, you have no increments. And if you perform fairly satisfactory, if you perform at a rate that's fairly satisfactory, then we're looking at like 2 to 5% of increment. And I thought that that was too slow because I was really greedy. And I thought that the way that would allow me to hit my ceiling as far as earnings was to kickstart my own business. The second reason I wanted to quit my job was because I felt that I was not able to fulfill my potential really. So ever since my university years, or should I even say high school years, as I suggest in my memoir, which is, by the way, available for pre-order, and it will be available for sale on 7th December this year. I focus a lot on polishing my communication skills. So we're looking at speaking, writing, presenting, and so forth. And I think that by paying attention to my skills at communication, I've been able to be better at pitching, at doing presentations, at handling difficult clients, handling difficult Q&A sessions, and so forth. I've also had a lot of opportunities in my own capacity to do a lot of coaching and mentoring as far as public speaking, impromptu speaking, and so forth. But I felt that my full-time jobs didn't really allow me to do that because when you're in a full-time job, you have your own portfolio and you really many a time have to do what you are told to do. And I didn't feel that there were ample opportunities for me to really go all out as far as fulfilling my potential at being the best communicator that I was. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect. Evidently from the videos, you notice that I still have a lot of room for improvement, and I still continue to put in effort to improve my skills at speaking, reading, and writing. But again, I feel that in my full-time jobs, I didn't have the opportunity to do that. So I thought, well, that was the second reason. I wanted to fulfill my potential as far as my skills and my interests and my strengths were concerned. And I guess there was a third reason as well, which is that I felt constrained because being in a full-time job meant that you had your regular work hours and you would be busy with things that you probably didn't enjoy that much. I'm not saying that business is all perfect. There are also things that I still do that I don't enjoy, but at least I feel that I have more free time now. So from a logistical aspect, running my own business allows me to do more of what I enjoy. So for example, now that I've been running my own business for about 1.5 years, I've been able to write my own memoir. I have the time to build my social media, which is what I'm doing right now. Whereas in my own full-time job, I probably wouldn't have the luxury to do that. And so those were the 3 reasons that I quit my full-time jobs, even though my earnings were pretty, I would say, or very favorable. So what I did was that I knew that I wanted to quit my jobs, but I wanted to make sure that I had something that was stable for me. So at that time, I started reaching out to my personal connections and saying, hey, I'm gonna offer corporate training services for free for you guys. I reached out to at least 100 or 200 people. And fortunately, 3 of them got back to me, 2 of which were established companies and 1 of which was an established international school in KL. And I said, hey, I'm gonna do it for free. But surprisingly, they did not want me to do it for free. They were going to pay me. And when that happened, I thought, hey, I've essentially closed my first 3 sales for my newly established business. And so I quit my jobs and I ventured into that. And fast forward to 2025, November, today, I've worked with more than 20 different companies, more than 10 of which, I believe 15 of which are multinational companies. And we have worked with more than 2,500 employees from 15 different countries. And as of 2025, we are looking at, so far, about a 700,000 ringgit revenue. So we're doing well. Of course, things could always be better, but I'm happy to announce that these are the achievements that we have been able to make. And we're also making plans for 2026. Our company, by the way, is called IdeaVid. So feel free to check us out. Our website, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and so forth. We post regularly. And then also in my own social media, I post regularly about what we do. So I think that if you feel that you would like to fulfill your potential, business really is the best way for you to do that. Of course, everyone's circumstance is different. It's just that in my particular case, as far as being able to deliver training and learning sessions, being able to sell, being able to grow my own social media, write my own books, engage in writing, reading, and so forth, for me, running my own business was the best. And I think that based on my observation with other people, running your own business brings more benefits than losses. Of course, there are some realistic considerations you have to keep in mind as well, like earnings, being able to promote yourself, and so forth. But I feel that if you set your mind to it and you're disciplined and conscientious, then there's really nothing stopping you. So that is why I quit my 5-figure jobs. And I hope you learned something from the video today. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.